PIB, electoral bill, and others. Nigerian governors urge international community to help end Northeast conflict. Also, updated, a story from Premium Times as well. NYSC scandal. Court grants Kemi Adeosun reprieve but silent on certificate forgery. Those are headlines from Premium Times.
From the Punch newspaper, INEC maintains dead governors, ministers, others on voter register. NYSC certificate. I'll take steps to redeem my reputation, says Adeosun. National Assembly ignores South governors. Others defends controversial PIB provisions. National Assembly ignores South governors. Others defends controversial PIB provisions. Fight banditry, insurgency, not Kanu Umar, tells federal government. 20 under rubble as 2 buildings collapse in Anambra. Back to school students abductors run out of food. NBC opposes ransom. And Boko Haram storms Adamawa community. 18 bodies recovered, many missing. Buhari ministers Twitter yet to begin talks on ban. NY certificate, I'll take steps to redeem my reputation. Also, Lagos planned 7.6 million trees in 10 years. IPOB accuses police of smear campaign, denies planting explosives. 27 Kogi police students expelled for hiring exam mercenaries. Other misconduct. Under Ekiti, APC denies shorting out Tinubu loyalists. More headlines from the Punch newspaper. South Africa's ex-president Zuma surrenders to police, begins 15 months jail term. And more headlines here. Isba raids Kano under bridge markets, evacuates underage beggars. DSS hold on to youths arrested over Buhari must go shut, bars lawyer. Currency in circulation falls by 65.74 billion naira in 4 months. And court restrains ex-market leader from forceful takeover. Those are headlines from the Punch newspaper.
Daily Trust, you are ignorant. Malami hits Canadian Minister over Nnamdi Kanu. Kanu youth sets ablaze over Kanu youth sets self ablaze over inability to pay NECO fees. Concerns as polio variant hits 13 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Northern elders give conditions for supporting zoning presidency to the south. Lagos traders lose goods worth millions in Ladipo market. Kwara Fulani leader abducted in Oyo State. Relations of arrested Igbo aides protest demand their release. We've sent many bandits to God, Chief of Army Staff. NYSC controversy, court clears ex-finance minister Kemi Adeosun. Ban on open grazing won't work, Zulum. Senate approves Buhari's 2.3 trillion naira loan request. Also, FIRS generates 650 billion naira in June, highest during COVID-19. Also, from Daily Trust, Lai Mohammed risks suspension as Kwara APC crisis festers. Anambra governorship, court restrains Ozigbo from parading self as PDP candidate. And finally, from Daily Trust, Ghana raises committee with Nigeria to end trade disputes.
Few headlines from the Vanguard newspaper. NYSC saga, court clears ex-finance minister Kemi Adeosun. Forensic auditors uncovered 12,128 abandoned projects. Akpabio, that's from the NDDC. 2022 budget, federal government to fund 5.62 trillion naira deficit with loans. Bandits, insurgents don't deserve mercy. CSOs back Army chief. Also, Lagos East by-election, Supreme Court affirms Abiru's victory. APC hails verdict. COVID-19, we converted our still oxygen to medical oxygen to save lives in Luth, AFL. Mass defection, Rep urges PDP national chairman to resign. We aren't fighting politicians, Urubu Assembly. And finally, how courts closure aids human rights violations in Nigeria.
I'll take a few headlines from the Guardian newspaper. Fresh loan request pushes Nigeria's public debt to over 35.5 trillion naira. Buhari has mismanaged Nigeria's diversity, says Colonel Abubakar Umar. Terrorists killed 24 in Adamawa community. Why Adeosun wasn't obligated to undergo NYSC mobilization by court. National Assembly PDP caucus endorses Southern Governors' resolutions. Reps move to earmark 5% electricity revenue for host communities. NDDC forensic auditors uncover 12,128 abandoned projects in Niger Delta. And one more headline from here. Ohanes Ndigbo tasks Northern elders on justice and equity.
We'll take a break for some messages. We'll be back in a short while. Stay with us.
Every day we dey grind, traffic everywhere. The hustle must continue, but not on an empty stomach.
Try the new Gala Classic today. It's bigger, meatier, and tastier. All for 100 Naira only. Gala Classic. More to fuel your hustle.
8 times 500 Naira, 4,000 Naira. 8 times 5,000. Hi! Abeg, where una dey see this money?
Money care. Now the ogbonge bonus wey dey sama me as I buy new SIM card o. See then they give me double data subscription plus 8 times a woof anytime I recharge.
Oh boy, what's up for me now?
You know say you fit buy SIM card now for any accredited Airtel shop, ba? Just go there with your NIN, just like that.
Sure guy!
Airtel, the smartphone network.
ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́rìndínlógún.
ọ̀rẹ́ èmi ló dé tó ń fọ́kóló rẹ.
ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́tàdínlógún.
ọmọ dá mi lóhùn.
lẹ́yìn nǹkan tó ṣe fún mi lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá yẹn èmi náà máa ra DSTV tèmi.
ẹ ṣé torí náà ló ṣe wá ń ṣe àpamọ́ owó rẹ jọ. tó o bá ti gbọ́ yálà ẹgbẹ̀rún méjìdínlógún lé ní ọgọ́rùn-ún mẹ́fà náírà o lè ra DSTV tuntun fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà.
DSTV Biggie Ghost promo ní gbogbo ohun tó fẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá pẹ̀lú ẹ̀dínwó àrà ọ̀tọ̀. ní báyìí o lè ra HD decoder dish àtowó ìwòran oṣù kan ìpele DSTV compact fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà. jẹ́ gbádùn ìkànnì ìwòran tó ju márùndínlógóje lọ pẹ̀lú eré ìdárayá bọ́ọ̀lù àfẹsẹ̀gbá tó kà màmá BB Naija UWE ìyẹn ìjà ike àgbáyé martial arts ìyẹn eré ìdárayá tìpátìkúùkù àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ yan ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá bí o bá ṣe fẹ́ lẹ́dínwó pẹ̀lú àǹfààní Biggie Ghost promo fún ìgbà díẹ̀ láǹfààní yóò fi wá o kò ní pẹ́ tán. DSTV àkókò rẹ ni.
Titan Farms, Titan Rice, Nigeria. Homemade rice with good price. I don't want correct rice. Titan, we no get stone at all. Titan rice, better rice. Titan, you go buy your own. No. Titan rice. Oh yes, Titan rice is a non-mushy, non-sticky, and no-stone Nigerian-made rice. Titan rice is available for nationwide distribution. For inquiry, please call 0906 007 9714 or visit our website via www.titanfarms.org. You can also earn a fortune by investing with Titan Farms today and earn great returns on your investment. Incredible, isn't it? What are you waiting for? Visit our office today at Titan Farms House, opposite Motor Dealers Association car lot, Akala Express, off New Garage, Ibadan. Titan Rice, a product of Titan Farms. Better rice, I think you go buy your own. Titan Rice.
All right, we're live on YouTube and Facebook this morning. 32FM 949 Ibadan. 32FM 949 Ibadan. Good morning once again, in case you just joined us. My name is Dele Adinyoju.
And my name is Bemi Sola Shoyemi. All right, let's get straight to the papers. We are joined in the studio by the analyst who is with us today, and that is Dr. Olu Ojedokun. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Top of the day to you.
All right. Of course, the major story in the dailies this morning happens to be the story about Kemi Adeosun. And that's due to the fact that a federal high court in Abuja ruled yesterday that the former Minister of Finance, which is Kemi Adeosun, was ineligible for the mandatory one-year national service. And of course, we know the drama that has been on for a while now. And now the court has said that she was not obliged to present herself for the NYSC mobilization under the prevailing 1979 constitution, as she was not a Nigerian citizen either at the time of her graduation or when she turned 30 years. According to the ruling, the constitution does not require her to present a first-degree certificate or any other document, including discharge or exemption for political appointment. And of course, I think the major issue that Nigerians are asking questions on is why the court did not deal with the fact that it was a forged certificate that she tendered, and not because she even tendered a certificate or not.
Well, the court will only deal with the matters that are put or presented before it. Remember that she was the one that went to court, and she went to court on a narrow basis. And also remember that the prosecuting authorities is the same government that she served with. So yes, you've rightly raised the point that She wasn't obliged to present anything, but yet what was presented on her behalf was quite dodgy, you understand? And by dodgy, I mean, wasn't original, was forged, I'm not suggesting she did it, but I'm suggesting that that's what was presented. Some may suggest that this is an attempt at laundering her image, cleansing her image, and repositioning herself. Having said that, at least one point has been established. If you're not a Nigerian citizen, then you're not obliged, of course, to go for the NYC or to present yourself for the NYSC.
Okay, and I think now that what do you think? What do you think is the reason why she's also saying, oh, she would, go ahead with dealing with those who put her in this position and all of that? Someone raised the point that maybe she's trying to, position herself one more time in the political space.
Well, it's political repositioning, isn't it? It's laundering her image, and of course, I think she still has an eye on the political space. She hasn't returned to England. She's still here, which means she's interested. And as far as I'm aware, she's still a member of the APC. And I think Ogun State continues to open up. There are a number of ladies there that are politically active and have done well. Mrs. Onofalcon is one of them, for instance. And I actually feel that she has a chance. And she's entitled to, isn't she? But she has to clean her records first. Some will say that she performed, at least decently, as Federal Minister of Finance, and she deserves a second chance. We all deserve other chances.
Was she able to step in the shoes of Okonjo-Iweala?
Absolutely not. What she did was to manage the situation that she found. I'm not sure that she was the best of Finance Minister, but certainly she served better than the current person that's in the current position. The person that was in the current position was understudying her anyway, So she did well to a certain extent, but I still feel that with her experience and with her capability, she could have done more in preparing us for a time such as this.
Do you think with this trend of people who want to hold some positions, we've seen it happen times without number, the situation where they either present a forged document or a non-existent document, so to say. We see the drama with the president, when he was going to vie for the position as well. Now, do you think there should be an upgrade of what kind of educational qualification you should have before you hold some certain positions as against what we have presently?
Let's just be very clear. So whether you're a professor or whether you have a doctorate or not doesn't determine whether you're going to be a competent person. But in Nigeria of this day and age, there should be a minimum, And I feel, in my view, people will disagree. I feel it should be a graduate, at least, HND graduate holder, before you go for a political office such as president, such as governor. That would be my view anyway. A lot of people will disagree. But you must have a level of competence and a level of appreciation. Let me tell you what it happens to you when you go to universities or polytechnics. You're exposed. You broaden your perception. You're able to deal with people better. You're able to analyze issues, and you're able to come up with solutions. It still doesn't mean that if you have those qualifications, you'll be good. But at least we should have that as a bar. The reason I'm saying that is because in a situation where your National Assembly and House of Reps, to a certain extent, is being populated by people who have questionable school cert, who are artisans. I'm not against artisans, but at least let them be educated up to a certain level. Their reasoning, their level of thinking and their reasoning is going to be quite limited. And that's not what Nigeria needs. We're moving into a tech age. We're moving to a modern age.
But at the moment, the Constitution still recognizes school cert.
Mm-hmm.
School cert, you must have sat for school cert. You don't even have to have passed it.
All right, away from that, we're talking bandits again this morning. I'm going to take two headlines. Now, bandits, ESN, we have started sending criminals to God. Army Chief Farouk Yahya. I'll take two paragraphs there. Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, newly decorated Chief of Army Staff, on Wednesday said that bandits and other criminals waging wars against the government and undermining national security have been sent to God to go and answer for their crimes. The Chief of Army Staff said this shortly after he was decorated as Lieutenant General by President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. And in other news, we have this headline: How bandits played music, partied all night after killing 19, burning community in Katsina. And the name of that community is, I don't know if I will get this clearly, Sawa. Bandits were said to be over 200 riding on motorcycles stormed Tawa village in Batari local government area, playing music and shooting sporadically.
First and foremost, I think the statement by the Chief of Army Staff is quite unfortunate. But let's put it in proper context. Today, the ISWAP Boko Haram have appointed a governor for that Borno State area. They have appointed governor, they've appointed ministers and all sorts. So let's not deceive ourselves that the army is making credible headway in this fight. Secondly, who gives him the authority to send anybody to God? It's not his responsibility. It's not the prosecuting authority. It's not a judge. You understand? His duty, of course, is to prosecute the war. And of course, in the course of the war, people die. We don't have a problem with that. But the problem I have is that some of these bandits or these criminals that have been sent to heaven, what if they have vital intelligence that can lead us to their masters, their commanders, those with the command and control? So I think it's very naive when he says he's sending them to heaven. What I would rather want, if they can be captured, is that some of the vital ones are captured. Let's get the information. And if he eliminates their grandmasters and sends them to heaven, I'm not going to weep over them. But all these foot soldiers and so on and so forth, I don't think there's much value in sending them to heaven, really, because they keep on replicating where the social economic situation is still bad. They'll keep on recruiting from that point of view. So yes, it might play to the press, it might play to the gallery, but I'm not really.
Or even to
really
Mr. President.
Or to Mr. President, but I'm not really impressed at all. Others may be impressed, but it doesn't impress me.
Colonel Abubakar Omar, retired former military administrator of Kaduna State, has blamed the current government under Buhari for separatist agitations threatening the country's unity. He also criticized the federal government for undue attention to threats of separatist movements, in contrast to the more daunting threats posed by kidnappers, bandits, and insurgents in the northern region of the country, adding that the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the IPOB, is of no serious consequence. What he's trying to say that Mr. President is leaving some stone unturned and he is hammering on uprooting some other stones.
Yes. First and foremost, just note that Umar is a Fulani man himself. But Umar has always been objective. I've not always supported his views, but he's always been objective. And it's very clear what he's saying is that you've arrested Kanu, but have you dealt with the ongoing intensifying of the banditry, of the kidnapping, of the ransoming, of the mayhem, of the killings and the murder? Have you been able to address that? Why celebrate Kanu when you've not been able to apprehend? Well, they may have, but they're not telling us. Apprehend all these bandits and this Boko Haram. You have not been able to prosecute them. And then you come and celebrate Kanu as if Kanu is. One thing he also said, he says 20% of the villages, 20% of the villages in Northeast have been evacuated. People cannot engage in the occupation of farming and so on and so forth. He says compare that to the Southeast. You understand? So it says the effect and the impact that Kanu and IPOB have on the economic activity there is nothing compared, to what these bandits are. And yet you major on the minor, in terms of Kanu, and you go and start celebrating him. So I think he's right in what he says. Having said that, I'm not one of the supporters of Kanu because Kanu's tactics, I profoundly disagree with his tactics. But I also profoundly disagree that the president will privilege Kanu over all these bandits and over all these Boko Haram errands.
So, sorry, baby, we're going to continue this way for the next 2 years. Is that what you're trying to do?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope some common saner minds in this government, in APC, will prevail on Mr. President, you understand, to at least apply equity.
Do you think Mr. President listens to anybody?
I think
it seems like the party leader himself.
I think he has a mind of his own. I think he has his own clear agenda. And I think sometimes...
And maybe people that are supposed to talk have some agenda or something.
Well, some of them have agenda. Some of them are positioning themselves politically. That is quite clear. But I think President has already shown to us is that he's not as uninformed as many of us thought he was. You understand? That he knows what is going on.
Yesterday from Soka to up till, I think, Secretariat, then to the Olubadan's palace, loyalists of Sunday Igboho, they made a rally, a protest, and now they've given the Nigerian government a 7-day ultimatum to release the arrested aides of Igbo.
First and foremost, within 24 hours, according to the Constitution of Nigeria, if you are picked up, you understand, you're supposed to be charged. 48 hours in some instances where you cannot get to a police station. I'm not aware that any of them has been charged as we speak.
We heard that they have not been allowed access to any lawyer.
That's unconstitutional. That's tyrannical, and that's abysmal. And any government that allows that, you understand, means we're operating under a police state. If that is the truth from what you've confirmed, we need to confirm that. But that's unfortunate, you understand, and we should not be living under that. We should be a government, or we should be a society of the rule of law. So they should be charged, and they should be charged now. Failing that, I expect their lawyers to go to court, you understand, file a writ of habeas corpus.
If they will be charged, what offences are they going to are they going to be charged
level against them?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to aid this federal government by suggesting any crimes, you understand, from that point of view. But it will be connected with the so-called arms that they said they discovered in Igbo's residence, or some might suggest resisting arrest. It might be around those sort of things. But none of it will stack up in the view of the evidence that they have before them. So they will have a very difficult time for filing charges against them. I think what they're going to try to do is to say they're keeping them in the interest of national security. But even that, the cases have already established that you must charge them with something.
Okay. Away from that, let's quickly talk about the fresh loan request that is about to push Nigeria's public debt to over 35.5 trillion naira, following the approval by the Senate of a fresh $6.18 billion external loan request by the executive. There are indications that Nigeria's documented public debt may exceed 35.5 trillion naira before the end of the year. The Senate approved a fresh loan and a loan request by President Buhari to fund part of the 2021 budget deficit, which stands at 5.6 trillion naira, or 41% of the 13 trillion naira budget. The deficit is more than 3% threshold as established by the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007.
So that's in violation of the Constitution, isn't it? It's in violation of the Act, rather. That's in violation of the Act. You see, that's what you get when you get a Senate that doesn't scrutinize, a Senate that just passes what goes before them. Having said that, once they've approved the budget, everything, other thing flows from it. So if you've approved the budget with a deficit of 40% or whatever it is, 5.6 trillion, as you enumerated there, then it follows, you understand, that budget has to be funded. So I think the problem is not the current decision. It is the decision they took with the budget when they approved that. Because if you approve the budget, then the money has to be found from somewhere. So this is a natural progression from the budget, the unsustainable budget that they approved, from that point of view. But I think you've raised a key point. That report has raised a key point. That this budget, you understand, this loan is in breach of the Act of Parliament.
So who do we hold responsible for breaching
the National Assembly and, of course, the executive. It tells you that the National Assembly is just a rubber stamp. They don't critically examine the laws that they've passed. Oversight is lacking, and they're just there, you understand, just earning big money emoluments which are unsustainable, unjustified, which is rather unfortunate. The president may get it wrong sometimes, but the president relies, or should rely, on the National Assembly to put him right.
Do you think
when they don't,
the president would listen to the National Assembly?
Well,
because it looks like it's the National Assembly that's actually listening to the governments in Nigeria.
Well, if the president doesn't listen,
if
he doesn't listen, they have the votes, they have the numbers, they can veto it, they can reject it, they can refuse to act. That's within the law. That's within the ambit of the law. But this National Assembly, they won't do such. It's going to be a far cry. So it's unfortunate the kind of National Assembly we have at this point in time. But that's where we are.
So where do we go from here? The loan request has been approved already, and not forgetting that we have loans that it looks like Nigerians have even lost track of the exact amount of money we are owing.
Well, it goes to my grandchildren. I won't say my children because they're sufficiently old, but it goes to my grandchildren to pay back the debt. It grows to your children, you understand, to pay back the debt. It means that we are going to be in a system of peonage. What do I mean by peonage? Which means we pay back the interest without paying back the debt. I think it's going to be more sorrow, tears, and misery.
All right, before we take more stories, let's go on a quick break. We'll be back.
Different days, different roads. All NATO Hammer. Keep going and spice up your hustle.
Introducing the new Gala Spicy. It's big, meaty, tasty with that special Niger spicy flavor. Try it today. Available for 100 naira only. Gala Spicy. Spice up your hustle.
With INT'L Home Broadband device, your home is connected and you all can focus on the important things in life. Enjoy the finer things in life in the INT'L HBB seasonal offer. Visit any certified INT'L shop to get a 4G MiFi at 9,999 Naira plus up to 55 gigabyte bonus data, or router at 19,999 Naira plus up to 160 gigabyte bonus data. Offer valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
INT'L, the smartphone network.
ShopRite's Big Red Carnival is back, and this year we're big on low prices, big on savings, with great deals on products like 3 PET bottles of Fiber Life 780 or 850 ml fruit juices at 999 Naira 99 kobo each, and buy 2 sachets of 450 gram Nestle Golden Morn cereal at 1,299 Naira 99 kobo.
Plus, you could stand to win 50% off your grocery shopping. Simply buy 3 participating products to qualify with ShopRite's Big Red Carnival. T's and C's apply.
Prices valid till the 11th of July 2021. ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust always.
ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́rìndínlógún.
ọ̀rẹ́ èmi ló dé tó ń fọ́kóló rẹ.
ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́tàdínlógún.
ọmọ dá mi lóhùn.
lẹ́yìn nǹkan tó ṣe fún mi lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá yẹn èmi náà máa ra DSTV tèmi.
ẹ ṣé torí náà ló ṣe wá ń ṣàpamọ́ owó rẹ jọ. tó o bá ti gbọ́ yálà ẹgbẹ̀rún méjìdínlógún lé ní ọgọ́rùn-ún mẹ́fà náírà o lè ra DSTV tuntun fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà.
DSTV Biggie Goals promo ní gbogbo ohun tó fẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá pẹ̀lú ẹ̀dínwó àrà ọ̀tọ̀. ní báyìí o lè ra HD decoder dish àtowó ìwòran oṣù kan ìpele DSTV compact fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà. jẹ́ gbádùn ìkànnì ìwòran tó ju márùndínlógóje lọ pẹ̀lú eré ìdárayá bọ́ọ̀lù àfẹsẹ̀gbá tó kà màmá bíbí Naija, eré oníṣe WWE ìyẹn ìjà ike àgbáyé, martial arts ìyẹn eré ìdárayá tìpátìkúùkù àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. yan ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá bí o bá ṣe fẹ́ lẹ́dínwó pẹ̀lú àǹfààní Biggie Goals promo. fún ìgbà díẹ̀ làǹfààní yóò fi wá o kò ní pẹ́ tán. DSTV àkókò rẹ ni.
32 FM
94.9.
Don't forget you're live on YouTube and Facebook, 32FM 949 Ibadan. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our page on YouTube, 32FM 949 Ibadan. You can drop your headline, drop your comments on either of the platforms. Now we're talking about issues in the news again, and Dr. Ojedokun is still much in the studio. There are indications that the National Assembly will ignore opposition to some provisions of the Petroleum Industry Bill recently passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Punch on Wednesday gathered that after the harmonization of the versions of the bill passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives, the bill will be submitted to the President, Buhari, for assent. After 13 years of its introduction, both the House and the Senate on Thursday passed the bill. While the House proposed 5% share for host communities, the Senate suggested 3%. Now, my question is, why didn't the state governors lobby the members of the House of Reps from their constituency and the senators there to amend instead of coming in a communique because it seems the ship is sailing already?
Yes, rightfully so. There's a first reading when you pass the bill. There's a second reading, and there's a third reading. The second reading has a public hearing component towards it. At any of these stages, you would have expected that if our governors really knew what they were doing in respect of this, that they would have lobbied, they would have cancelled, and they would have caucused with their respective senators or House of Reps. But they don't seem to have done that. So a lot of people are arguing. Festus Adebayo argued yesterday.
Festus
Adebayo, argued yesterday that it was crying over spilled milk. And I agree to a limited extent. But my own position is that they still have the position to influence both houses because they haven't reconciled yet. In reconciling, they may drop some provisions. It's possible. But secondly, they can also lobby Mr. President. I doubt if that's going to change anything. The third option they have is to wait it out for the next 2 years and to amend the bill. Because, of course, there are many objectionable parts to the bill. They wanted 10%, the host communities, and they've given them 3%. And the host communities have been redefined. Anybody that has a pipeline passing through his backyard is now described as a host community. So you can imagine many other communities have been dragged into that. And 30%, for frontier exploration in a situation...
From 10%?
Yes, in a world where fossil fuel is a diminishing resource. In a world where people are moving from fossil fuel to renewables, I would have thought that the progressive government and the progressive National Assembly would have dedicated that amount to renewables. That's renewable energy, so that we invest. That's what BP is doing. That's what Chevron is doing. That's what all these big Mobil and Elf are doing. Because they know that in 20, 15 years' time, oil or petroleum, as we call it, will be less relevant. So there's a number of objectionable things with that bill itself. And I hope that these governors, representing Southern interests or whatever interest, can find a way in this late stage, even though it's still make in the eyes of many, to influence the situation.
But the bill is yet to be submitted to Mr. President.
Pardon?
The bill is yet to be submitted
yet,
to
because
Mr.
they haven't
President.
reconciled. You see, they have to reconcile whether it's 5% or 3%. And there might be some other minor things.
Maybe they could still do something.
Yes, it's possible. At least 5% is better than 3%. From that point of view.
But is either of the two, any of the two, is it good enough?
It's not, because the host communities themselves. Let me give you a situation. There's a state called Zamfara State. There's gold in that state. Do you know that all the proceeds from that gold goes to that state government? There's no 10%, there's no frontier exploration, none of those, you understand? What is good for the geese certainly must be good for the gander. And that's the inequitable treatment that some people are protesting against, you understand? Why does Zamfara have access to the entire gold? In fact, for a long time, they were doing it under the cover until it was exposed because of some of the banditry going on. So I think that's the problem that we face in this country, where we treat oil differently from other resources.
In the case of these governors, is it a case of them not doing what they should do, or a case of ignorance? Because some people argue that it's possible they were not aware of any of these things until a lot of people actually applauded this bill sometime last year and into this year. But then when we began to see all these percentages and these clauses that we did not know about, that was when the outcry started. So for the governors, do you think it could also be a case of ignorance, that they were not aware of all of this before now?
I think the governors slacked. They didn't want political astute. And basically, there was a dereliction on their part. It's clear there was a dereliction on their part. And they should have raised the hues and cries earlier, because this is not the first time publicity has been given to the bill. We must confess that the bill was a good thing when it was brought up, because it was brought up 13 years ago. What they've done, you understand? Do you know that the Northern Caucus, do you know they met? Do you know they met and they put down some markers? The Northern Caucus met and put down some markers. So why didn't the South meet? The South-South or the Southeast? Why did they just allow it to leave it to good fortunes, you understand, rather than actually meet with their governors?
Now, you cited the Zamfara example just now, and since Zamfara is mining its gold, we have gold in Osun, we have mineral resources, we have some mineral resources in those states too. The bitumen that was discovered during Adefaratis time. But all these things have been waiting because they believe it belongs to the federal government.
Yes.
Does that mean that we at the South, we are not very pushful, or we're not very creative, or we're scared?
No, we think we are smart. That is it. A lot of times we are positioning ourselves that when our time comes, you understand, then we'll be able to do a lot of things. And there's a prevailing cancer that just simmer. Take it easy. We don't want to rock the boat. So I think many of them don't want to rock the boat. But I think with the Southern Forum, with the Southern governors coming up, I think the boat is beginning to be rocked, because people from various political parties, whether it's the APC or whether it's the PDP or AFGA, are beginning to speak truth to power, if we may use that expression.
And that takes us to that next story.
Yes, Zulum, that's the governor of Borno State, has said the ban on open grazing will not work. He said that he attributed... I'll just read the story. At a summit which held in Asaba about 2 months ago, the southern governors had unanimously banned open grazing, attributing this to the clashes between farmers and herdsmen. But their action was received with mixed feelings, with the presidency saying the constitution guarantees freedom of movement. But Zulum said that on Wednesday that the ban will not work until the insecurity and economic crisis are addressed. In his words, I read, "We have to address the socio-political and economic dimensions of this crisis, which is very important because there is increasing poverty in the sub-region. That is something that will trigger insurgency." Do you agree with him, Doctor?
Well, it's certainly not been working. It hasn't been working, has it? You go to all parts of your state, parts of Washington State, and they're still out there. But the fact that the law will not work doesn't mean you shouldn't put the law in place. Why it doesn't work is because of the lack of enforcement and lack of political will. So what we have to concentrate on is the enforcement and getting the political will. Open grazing is anachronistic. You understand? It cannot exist in the modern economy. You can't have cattle competing with vehicles. You can't have cattle competing, you understand, with farming. You understand? It will destroy the crops. You have to have ranching. That is the modern way. It is done it is done in Botswana, it is done in South Africa, it is done even in the Gambia. You understand? So what is so special about Nigeria that we cannot have ranching instead of open grazing, from that point of view? So I think, yes, the enforcement is a problem, it's problematic, but it will work if we are able to enforce, if we get the police behind it, and the security forces, and the governments will stop privileging the herdsmen over the farmers.
Just like you said, it has definitely not been working in this region because we still see the cattle on the streets these days. Now, for the southern states, how do we enforce? Who do we put in the position of enforcement? Because not forgetting what happened after the NSAS protest, a lot of people are saying that the police are just there, almost doing nothing at the moment. And that's why we even have increase in insecurity and, kidnappings and all, even the ones that are not being committed by these herdsmen. There are people that are part of us, they are still committing this crime. So who do we put the job into their hands?
Ordinarily, it would be, of course, the federal police. But, of course, we know that the federal police is directed in their operations from Abuja. But also we have the Amotekun who can provide intelligence, really. And we can rely on their intelligence. So I think it's going to be a mixture of the Amotekun working with the Nigerian police. But some people will say that won't work because the Nigerian police will not take instructions from their respective governors, particularly if the body language of the president, is suggesting that open grazing is the way to go. So I think it's problematic. And I think until we resolve the issue of regional or state policing, we're going to continue to have this conflict between what the governor wants and conflict between what the federal government wants.
And of course, Zulum said the foundation of this problem is the socio-political and economic dimensions that we have to this crisis. He said there is increasing food insecurity in the sub-region because food insecurity is the worst form of insecurity, and that is why the Borno state government has been advocating for farming in the last 2 years. So he's saying there should be a resolution of the crisis between the farmers and the herders. Let poverty in the land be eradicated, and when these guys have other places to go, when they have things to do, then this problem might not continue.
Let's be very clear. In the South, there is no farmer herders crisis in the South. I can't talk about the North. And what do I mean? I mean, crisis means, or clashes, or whatever you call it.
Between two people.
Yeah, between two, you understand. In the North, the situation might be more complex and more complicated. But of course, there are social economic factors. But in the North has 70% of the land mass here. And if it did have 70% of the land mass, really, there should be enough land in the North, you understand? Even the places that are so-called arid for what grazing, as it is called.
All right, let's quickly go on another break, the final break, of course. And when we return, we'll take your phone calls and your messages.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day. Another chance to change my story. I believe in my hustle. I know be lazy person. But life is just a that big bass boost. If it don't close, I go find another. If I fall down, I go try to recover. If it never walk me, I know they bother. Cause I believe, say, I go surely prosper. You don't get that shit, won't be. We move. No matter what they say, we move.
Whatever life brings, we move. Turn up your dreams. MTN, everywhere you go.
Ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́rìndínlógún.
Ọ̀rẹ́, èmi ló dé tó ń fọ́kóló rẹ.
Ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́tàdínlógún.
Ọmọ, já mi lóhùn.
Lẹ́yìn nǹkan tó ṣe fún mi lọ́sẹ̀ tó kọjá yẹn. èmi náà máa ra DSTV tèmi.
ẹ ṣé torí náà ló ṣe wá ń ṣàpamọ́ owó rẹ jọ tó o bá ti gbọ́ yálà ẹgbẹ̀rún méjìdínlógún lé ní ọgọ́rùn-ún mẹ́fà náírà o lè ra DSTV tuntun fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà.
DSTV Biggie Goals promo ní gbogbo ohun tó fẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá pẹ̀lú ẹ̀dínwó àrà ọ̀tọ̀ ní báyìí o lè ra HD decoder dish àtowó ìwòran oṣù kan ìpele DSTV compact fún ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́wàádínlọ́gọ́rùn-ún náírà jẹ́ gbádùn ìkànnì ìwòran tó ju márùndínlógóje lọ pẹ̀lú eré ìdárayá bọ́ọ̀lù àfẹsẹ̀gbá tó kà màmá BB Naija eré oníṣe WWE ìyẹn ìjà ike àgbáyé martial arts ìyẹn eré ìdárayá tìpátìkúùkù àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ yan ọ̀pọ̀ eré ìdárayá bí o bá ṣe fẹ́ lẹ́dínwó pẹ̀lú àǹfààní Biggie Goals promo fún ìgbà díẹ̀ láǹfààní yóò fi wá o kò ní pẹ́ tán DSTV àkókò rẹ ni.
láti gòkè àgùnlà láyé èèyàn nílò ìtọ́sọ́nà ẹni tó mọ̀nà débi àṣeyọrí. FMH International HR àwọn ni gbajúgbajà akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ alárinà tó mọ ojúlẹ̀jà bá ti ń tọ́ni sọ́nà finimọ̀nà nípa bí gbogbo òǹwáṣẹ́ ṣe lè pàdé àwọn òǹgbanisíṣẹ́ pàápàá jùlọ láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó wà lókè òkun.
FMH International HR alábàáṣepọ̀ gidi ni wọ́n jẹ́ pẹ̀lú àjọ oníwádìí ìjìnlẹ̀ àgbáyé tá a mọ̀ sí United Nations Volunteer Research Group láti jùmọ̀ tọpinpin wàhálà táwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn ń kojú nídìí ìgbìyànjú ajé lọ sílẹ̀ òkèèrè ìyẹn ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ mọ́ international migration àti international labour activities.
ǹjẹ́ o tiẹ̀ mọ̀ pé o nílò ìmọ̀ tó jinlẹ̀ dáadáa nípa ìlànà à ń tẹ̀lé láwọn pápákọ̀ òfurufú tó fẹ́ gbà sọdá sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí United Nations Volunteer Research Group pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ FMH International HR ń ṣe research lórí ẹ̀dùn ọkàn àti ìpèníjà tẹ́ ẹ bá ní. questionnaires táwọn òṣìṣẹ́ FMH bá fún yín lágbègbè yín lẹ́ ó ṣàlàyé ìrírí yín sí.
fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ kàn sí wọn ní 3rd and 9th floor Cocoa House Dùgbẹ̀ Ìbàdàn.
telephone 0817 4444 627
àti 081 68 73 7222.
egbògi kan ti délẹ̀ yìí egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣe ni ó dára fẹ̀jẹ̀ gidi gan. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o.
ojú rẹ̀ ṣàǹjọ̀lọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ kí làṣírí ẹ wà rí.
Veneton cleanser ni.
já mi sí ọ̀rẹ́.
Veneton cleanser egbògi àtẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tí bádọ̀tí ara wọ̀ yá ìjà rẹ̀ wọ́n mọ́lẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n yẹbẹyẹbẹ. inú tó ń kú tó ń dàrú gbòdògbòdò kò bára rẹ̀ èrí inú ẹ̀jẹ̀. amọ̀nà ti dé o. Veneton cleanser egbògi àtẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tí a fi ewé àti egbò ṣe ní ọ̀nà tìgbàlódé. NAFDAC fòǹtẹ̀lù MA1 Nigeria Limited ni wọ́n gbé Veneton cleanser jáde. a wà ní nọ́mbà 17 ọba akínyẹlé off Adeogun Street Aláàfin Avenue Olúyọ̀lé Estate Ring Road Ìbàdàn. telephone 08034051533 fún títà àti rírà ìwọ náà darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Veneton cleanser àmọ̀tẹ́kùn egbòogi tí ń ya gbogbo kòkòrò inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́.
Right, we'll take calls now. 0705 5949 0809 7949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Alaja Salah from Coca-Cola. Hello?
We can hear you. Go ahead, Alaji.
Yeah, on the issue of controlling one resources, I think the cheating or the lopsidedness have been going on for a while. Thank God there is a erasure to be songs when problem, when there are challenges. And that's why the issue of Zamfara Gold was exposed during this act of banditry incursion into Zamfara. Yeah, about the lead, the mining of lead, lead zinc or that. There are too many of them in Zamfara. Illegally, they are coming all this thing up, and they are using other state resources to develop the whole Nigeria, where they are keeping theirs to themselves. I think we should find a way of restructuring this country. That's the only way out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alaji, for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
good morning. Hello. We can hear you. Please go
Hello.
ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I think I'm following from Kopailodo calling. I think what the governor of Borno State has said, Governor Zulum, I think, to me personally, we have to think and rethink about what he has just said. Banning or opening
open grazing, banning on the cattle rearing, open cattle rearing, I think is the right thing, but it may not work until we provide another alternative for them. These people, they are human beings like me and you. So there's no way it can work until we provide another alternatives. And my suggestion is that maybe cattle colony, you can say cattle colony, maybe you can say that it's a private business, agreed. Whether the traditional market is a private business, but it's a private business, it was considered by government. And people are doing private business there. So I think my suggestion is that let them try to provide another alternatives, and that is cattle colony. It will even bring money for government.
All right, thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you, sir.
Hello.
We can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning. This is Shem from here.
All right.
My own thing is this. There's no good relationship between our federal rep and our governor in the south. That's why we're having a problem in passing any good bills in the National Assembly. Number two, there is no region that does not have ranches. We should let our governors go to these ranches and give it out to private individuals so that these people will go there and get it and they will pay tax for us. About 5% money to the host community. I serve in Abia State. I'm very sorry to say this. The host community will not want it to work. The leaders there, they will just collect the money. They will not do anything for the citizens of that state. Have a nice time.
Thank you very much. Hello, good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We can hear you. Good morning to you. What's your name?
John in this morning.
All right, go ahead.
Doctor, they have had you too much too. And I want to react to Colonel Maru, who has mismanaged Nigeria and diversity. And let me tell you, on he and those listening, that it didn't start today. And maybe we have to know much about Colonel Abubakar Dajinwu Maru, retired Colonel. He was among the three majors, who played prominent role in the early administration of General Babangida. Alongside Major Lawan, rather than David Mark, he was the first senior military officer to condemn the annulment of June 12 presidential election, won by Chief Moshood Abiola. The condemnation further cost him his job. On Sunday, the federal government is likely going to drag him to court, either from now till Monday as suspect to. Don't injustice in my name. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. John Unjoku.
That's lending credence to credibility, stamping his credibility.
Yes, on Umar, because Umar has always come out, most instances, even against the northern interest, for the national interest. And I think that's the position he's trying to make.
He is Fulani.
Yes, he's Fulani, of course.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah. My name is Adeshu Yomorola from UI. I want to appeal to the followers of our leader, Sunday Igboho, here in Ibadan or Yoruba land, to stop any protest or ultimatum. Let's just urge our leader, Sunday Igboho, to withdraw from all his efforts to defend us in Yoruba land. These are traditional rulers, our politicians, that they are keeping quiet, they are sleeping. Let's hand over to them. By time, very, very soon, so that they will not kill, because very soon Yorubas his followers will also be the ones to expose his power to this government, and they will get him arrested and they will kill him. And these Yoruba leaders, they will not say anything. So let's urge him. Let's urge him to stop all the agitation, and very soon, I'm very sure, Fulanis will be becoming king in Yoruba land.
Please, when you call, make sure the volume on your radio set is totally turned down, or you move very far away from there. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, God bless you. This is Pat Bemi from Ibadan. Yes, I support what Adeshu Omola just said. Sunday Igboho should leave Yoruba alone. They are not people to fight for. That's for that. Where I'm going is about the statement credit to Colonel Umar. You see, Doctor, people, notable Nigerians, patriotic Nigerians, have been condemning the actions of this government led by President Buhari for the past 5 years, but they have never listened to anybody. Wole Soyinka said something yesterday, you remember. Baba Obasanjo have been talking
condemning this government, but they never listen. All the agitations of Nigeria, which one has this government yielded to? Nothing. You see, instead of them to be running after criminals, people that are killing us, they are not doing it. So people like Sunday Igboho are agitating for our people not to be killed again. You see, but the government is not happy about that. Kano is asking for secession. The same thing as Sunday Igboho. Because they know that the government is not yielding to their request. That's why they are moving to another state. You see, that's the problem. So only the people that are gullible or that are following, that are party members of APC will say this government is doing the right thing. They should do the right thing. Because if they don't do it, they will soon meet their Waterloo. God help us to stay through during Abacha. Abacha was dealt with. God will help us to stay through this one. God will deal with this one too. Good morning.
Good morning.
I challenge that assumption that it's only the APC members who feel that this government is doing well. The governors from the southern, across the southern region, some of them are they not APC members. I think there's a general consensus, even across political parties, that this government is not living up to the expectation that is set out for itself.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Ojedokun. We'll see you next time on the show. The program, Breakadonis Review, returns tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. My name is Dele Adeyanju. Thank you so much for your time with us.
And my name is Bimisola Shoyemi. Good morning.
It's almost here, guys. We are finally a week away from finding out who our next Nigerian idol will be. Season 6 of Nigerian Idol has been magical, from the auditions all the way to the top 2. There's been a lot of excitement to fill up our Sunday night thanks to Africa Magic DSTV and GoTV. It was a roller coaster ride of emotions on the Sunday live show as we witnessed an amazing performance, first by the top 8 contestants who left the show, then followed by our top